Hello Manchester fans. Ruben Amorim reveals extent of Luke Shaw injury setback as Man United star suffers blow. Luke Shaw has only made 3 appearances for Manchester United this season and picked up another injury in December, ruling him out of much of Ruben Amorim's tenure. Ruben Amorim admits that Manchester United need to be careful with Luke Shaw after he suffered a small injury setback. Shaw, 29, made 3 consecutive substitute appearances in Amorim's first 3 games as manager before getting injured again in December. The England international returned to first-team training last week, but it was reported on Wednesday that Shaw would miss Friday's FA Cup 4th-round clash at home to Leicester. Speaking ahead of the cup tie, Amorim confirmed that Shaw had indeed suffered a setback in his recovery, revealing, "Luke has one small issue in a different area from the last injury, so we try to be careful with Luke." The Red Devils boss also commented on the news that Lisandro Martinez had suffered a cruciate ligament injury during Sunday's dismal 2-0 loss at home to Crystal Palace. "Licha is a difficult situation. He's going to be out for a while," Amorim explained. "We don't know the extent of the injury, but it's going to take time." United signed a new left-back in the winter transfer window to compete with Shaw, who's only played 8 times for club and country in the past 12 months. Patrick Dorgu, 20, arrived from Lecce in a £25 million deal, having impressed for the Italian side as well as the Danish national team. Arsenal prospect Aiden Heaven was also brought in, and Amorim has suggested that the 18-year-old centre-back could play a role in the first team. Quizzed on whether they could make their debuts against Leicester, Amorim replied, "We'll see. You guys have to wait until tomorrow, but they are ready to play, and are 2 more solutions in this moment." Despite calls to sign a forward following the departures of Marcus Rashford and Antony, the 2 defenders were United's only additions of the transfer window, with the Red Devils wary of breaching the Premier League's profit and sustainability rules after years of overspending and selling players on unfavorable terms. "What I feel is that the club is taking its time," Amorim said. "We know the urgency of the moment of the team. Everybody here don't want to make the same mistakes of the past. In the summer we will see. But like I said, we are being really careful with transfers because we did some mistakes in the past." Ruben Amorim explains striker signing snub after Man United considered Viktor Gyokeres. Ruben Amorim has explained why Man United didn't sign a striker in January. Manchester United head coach Ruben Amorim has defended the club's decision to opt against signing a new striker in the January transfer window. The Red Devils offloaded Marcus Rashford and Antony on loan without recruiting a replacement amid financial restrictions and a greater focus on the summer. It leaves Amorim with just 35 career Premier League goals among his current forward options, causing concern about his hopes of improving a dismal season so far. Only Everton and the top flight's bottom 3 clubs have scored fewer goals than United's 28 in 24 games this term, and the Portuguese boss accepts he has taken a risk. "What I feel is that the club is taking its time," Amorim explained in his press conference on Thursday. "We know the urgency of the moment of the team. Everybody here doesn't want to make the same mistakes of the past. In the summer, we will see. But like I said, we are being really careful with transfers because we made some mistakes in the past." He added, "I think this is a moment that is hard to turn things around in just a few games. It's going to be like that, really hard until the end of the season. We are taking that risk you talk about. We want a different thing in the team, profiles in that area. It was my decision to do that. Not sign anyone. We are taking some risks. But this is the way we want to proceed." United have splurged £108.5 million in the last 2 summer transfer windows to sign Rasmus Højlund and Joshua Zirkzee. However, both are struggling for goals this season, which prompted Amorim to start Kobbie Mainoo as the spearhead of his team in Sunday's defeat to Crystal Palace. Another new striker is widely expected to be among United's top priorities at the end of the season, with Viktor Gyokeres reportedly at the top of the wish list. The 26-year-old established himself as one of Europe's most prolific goalscorers under Amorim at Sporting, and I claim that the M16 Giants considered an attempt to sign him in January. But it's claimed that Sporting would have demanded £83 million to part ways this winter, while he is set to be available for just £60 million in a few months. Amorim will expect to remain at the helm for the summer, no matter how ugly this season gets, and he is confident the risk will ultimately pay off. That is clear. I'm under pressure. But it is also exciting. I knew when I chose this profession that you have the risk of results, and I knew when I came here, the 40-year-old explained. I looked at the schedule, I looked at the team, and my decision to change everything in the middle of the season without new signings is a danger for a coach. But I have a clear idea of what I want to do, and I take these risks because in the end it's going to pay off. But I'm not naive. I have said that many times. This is a sport of results. Manchester United give team news and update on Luke Shaw for Leicester City FA Cup tie. Patrick Dorgu and Aiden Heaven signed for Man United last week, and they play their fourth-round FA Cup tie on Friday at Old Trafford. Patrick Dorgu and Aiden Heaven are available to make their Manchester United debuts against Leicester City in the FA Cup fourth round on Friday. Dorgu, 20, joined United from Lecce last week for a fee rising to £29 million, while the 18-year-old Heaven arrived from Arsenal for an undisclosed compensation fee. We'll see. United head coach Ruben Amorim replied when asked if the duo could be involved. You guys have to wait until tomorrow, but they are ready to play, and are two more solutions in this moment. Lisandro Martinez has been ruled out for at least the remainder of the season with a cruciate ligament injury sustained in the second half of the 2-0 defeat to Crystal Palace on Sunday. Heaven is a fellow left-footed centre-back, but left-back Luke Shaw, who has also played on the left of a back three, has suffered a setback in his recovery from a hamstring injury. Shaw, 29, resumed full training last week but will not feature against Leicester. Amorim admitted the club have to be careful with a player who last started for United on February 18th last year. Lecce is a difficult situation, Amorim added. He's going to be out for a while. We don't know the extent of the injury, but it's going to take time. Luke has one small issue in the difficult area from the last injury, so we try to be careful with Luke. Mason Mount and Johnny Evans are still out with muscle injuries. Ruben Amorim has been urged by Rio Ferdinand to bring Paul Pogba back to Manchester United to allow him to train until his football ban is lifted. The 31-year-old has been out of action since the 2022-23 campaign, which was curtailed by injury before a 4-year suspension from the sport was enforced due to a failed drugs test. After pleading his innocence, the former Man United midfielder saw his sentence reduced to 18 months. That term will come to an end next month. And since the turn of the year, the Frenchman has been training in preparation. Ferdinand believes Amorim can offer a place in his squad for the time being. I'd say to Pogba, come in and train with us. Let me see what you've got. I'd do that. I would have done that already. Come in and get fit, the former defender said via his own YouTube channel. Pogba can do as much training as he likes, but the fact still remains. He is without a club to play for as he left Old Trafford in 2022, then Juventus would release him upon learning of his ban. Following a quiet transfer deadline day, Ferdinand suggested perhaps the midfielder training with his former squad could prompt Amorim to offer a return. I'd also have a look, if he's in a position to be re-signed, he added. Being a free agent, the player is not confined to move only during transfer windows, the latest of which closed on Monday night. Manchester United co-owner Sir Jim Ratcliffe willing to sanction £54 million move for Harry Kane. Manchester United co-owner Sir Jim Ratcliffe would reportedly be open to signing Harry Kane from Bayern Munich after it emerged he has a release clause in his Bayern Munich contract, which has dropped significantly in recent days. United held a long-standing interest in Kane before he sealed a £100 million transfer to Bayern in 2023. He was Erik ten Hag's top transfer target, but Tottenham Hotspur chairman Daniel Levy refused to sell his talisman to a direct Premier League rival. United have since bolstered their striking department with the additions of Rasmus Højlund and Joshua Zirkzee, two players who are struggling to have an impact at Old Trafford. Meanwhile, Kane has been a sensation at Bayern. While he has yet to lift a trophy with the Bundesliga giants, his performances have been nothing short of incredible, scoring 70 goals in 72 games. A recent report covered by the People's Person relayed that Kane has a release clause in his Bayern contract. The England captain was available for £67 million in the January transfer window, but that clause will now be reduced to £54 million next winter. While there are no indications that he wants to leave Bayern, this development has alerted a number of clubs to his potential availability. Now, journalist Graham Bailey has revealed what Ratcliffe thinks about United making another attempt at finally securing Kane's services. According to Bailey via TBR Football, Ratcliffe would be on board with sanctioning a pursuit of Kane. It's understood that the Ineos chairman would love for United to sign Kane. TBR Football can exclusively reveal that Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos earmarked Harry Kane as their dream signing once they took over Manchester United in 2023. The English billionaire is a huge admirer of the Bayern number 9, who has amassed a staggering 55 goals in 50 Bundesliga games. Ineos' stance remains firm about not having any say on sporting decisions, and they will not steer United's footballing department in the direction of signing Kane. However, even they are big fans of the Tottenham legend. Bailey notes that Spurs have the first option on re-signing their former striker. Even better from United's perspective is that Kane would still like to return to the Premier League in the future. He has ruled out moves to Spurs' London rivals like Arsenal and Chelsea. Kane wants to break Alan Shearer's record as the league's top goalscorer. He is currently just 47 goals shy of Shearer's 260 strikes. Manchester United will now have to complete the rest of the season with 2 misfiring strikers after Ineos failed to strengthen in that department in January. Joshua Zirkzee has 4 goals in 35 games since his summer move, while Rasmus Højlund has now not scored in 13 consecutive matches. With Marcus Rashford sealing a loan move to Aston Villa, Ruben Amorim only has Alejandro Garnacho and Amad Diallo as the